look at your hand, look at a certain spot on the hand. And as the hand moves toward you, you will begin to lose focus. And as you become aware of your eyes, close your eyes and sleep and go deeper and deeper and deeper, drifting, floating, falling as you go deeper and deeper and deeper. When I was 3 years old, my parents told me we were going to move. So we packed our bags and moved across the world to a new world. An ancient, circular city called Yerevan. A city that glowed in pink and stretched out toward the vast biblical mountains of Ararat. And this is where I found myself, in this magic city. And this city was full of the most magical characters. Here were those who preached the word of God, those who pursued lives of fortune and luck. Here was the young man desperately in love, and the woman for whom love had wilted. You'll notice she's not looking to the broken flower in one hand, but to the sword in the other. And here in this city, living side by side, were the heroes and the cowards, the rich and the poor, the two-faced and the single-minded. And we ourselves are characters, just like these. We're assigned a certain role at birth, and we are entered into the city. Each of us from a different place, at a different time, for a different reason. And we are shuffled into the destiny of the place. Oftentimes, it seems there is no logic to the lives that we live. In fact, it seems that our lives are unfolding in conditions of total chaos. Some of us upside down, some of us right side up, some of us face to face. And yet, when all hope seems to be lost, the magic city of Yerevan always finds a way of bringing us together, just like it has brought us together this evening. Those of us who live in Yerevan have this experience quite often, don't we? We run into each other on a given day at a given intersection and we say, hey, it's the second time this week we ran into each other. How lucky we are. How lucky. But is it luck? Or is it something else?
As a kid, I felt I had walked into a city of cards, a pink labyrinth of courtyards, compartments, and squares. And as I set out to explore Armenia's capital, I found there was magic around every corner. The legends of ancient kings, the myths of pagan goddesses. There were stones blessed by God, and others cursed by the devil. Apparently, Armenian history itself was a sequence of magic tricks, conversions, escape acts, levitations. In fact, the first and greatest miracle of all history was staged here. It was here, after all, on the holy mountains of Ararat, that Noah had landed his ark after the flood, which means the world once ended in Yerevan. And in Yerevan, the world was reborn.
I grew up in a time in Yerevan called the Mut Utsurt Dariner, the dark and cold years. And there was no bread, and there was no water. There was no electricity. So we lived mostly in the dark. And we huddled around candles or kerosene lamps. And we told stories. And conspiracy theories. And gossip. In those years, I also learned magic. When I was 5 or 6 years old, my parents bought me my first magic set. And of course, I learned the first trick every magician learns. Pick a card, any card. But there were people around me who practiced another kind of magic, a greater magic. These were mostly women. These were mostly the coffee cup readers. And in my neighborhood, our coffee cup reader was the rosy-cheeked, larger-than-life character of Mrs. Maya. And after a cup of Armenian coffee had been consumed and the cup turned around on its saucer and allowed to dry into a fortune, Mrs. Maya would pick up that cup and say things like this.
Ասեմ, Կարին ջան, վատ բաժակ չի։ Այստեղ անձրև եմ տեսնում։ Անձրևը դա առատության, հա, նշան է։ Եթե նայես ինքդ էլ կտեսնես։ Նայ, ինքը դրոշակ է, ինքը լամպա, մոմեր են վառվում, հին հեռախոսները սոտովին չի։ Այս
Իսկ երբեք սոտովի տեսնում ես բաժակի մեջ։
Ես երբեք բաժակի մեջ սոտովի չեմ տեսնում։
What other symbols? What other symbols?
Mountain.
Mountains.
Yeah, some black heart or I don't know.
Բայց նաև նավս ունես, հենց սարի տակը մի հատ նայի կատուն։
Կատուն ենք, մուկուն ենք, ոնց որ Tom and Jerry-ն ունի այս բաժակը։
And there were letters too. There are always a lot of letters. So Mrs. Maya would say, I see an M. And then she would look to me and say, no, it's an N. It's an N.
Յ տառը տեսա։
Յ թե ե։
Ե, յասաման։
Յասամանը յ։
Եվ տեսանք որը էշա։ Կարքին է եւ նույնիսկ ավելին, հա ինչ որ մի բանի հարցում շտապում եք։
Ես էի շտապում, թե դուք եք։
Չէ, որտեվ սա ձեր բաժակն է։ Դրա համար ինքը իմ ձեռքից գնաց, բայց դա իմ մեղքը չի։
But from time to time, Mrs. Maya would get very, very serious. And she would become very specific. And she'd say, I see a letter here. It's a K. And right next to that letter, there's a sign of a lot of wealth and money. So someone with the letter K is going to bring you a lot of wealth and jewelry and money because I see a diamond here. I see a K and a diamond, and she would actually show me the cup. And she would say, did you choose the King of Diamonds? Did you choose the Queen of Hearts? And she would look to me and say, did you choose the Two of Clubs?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Wow.
There is an ancient Armenian ritual called the hadik. When we're babies, we are presented with a variety of symbols and invited to choose our destiny. I'm told I chose the symbol for a writer, and I became one. So I had to ask myself, were the choices I was making in life actually free? Or had they been decided for me? Is it just a coincidence that we constantly run into each other on the streets of Yerevan? Or are we guided by destiny, what Armenians call jakatagid, the writing on your forehead? Unfortunately, Mrs. Maya is no longer with us. So to help answer these questions, I dropped in on my current coffee cup reader, Mrs. Susanna. Չեմ բերել իմ խաղաթղթերը իմ հետ, իմ քարտերը իմ հետ, բայց ուզում եմ դուք մտածեք 52 քարտերի մասին ու այդ 52 քարտից մեկը ընտրեք։ Լավ մտածեք այդ պատկերի մասին, այդ մի քարտի մասին։ Ու տեսնենք, եթե ինչ-որ մի բան կգտնենք ձեր բաժակում։ Դուք էլ շատ լուսավոր բաց բաժակ ունեք ոնց որ։
Հա, բայց մի քիչ նեղված եմ այստեղ։
Ես այդտեղ սիրտ եմ տեսնում։
Այո։ Ճիշտ է։
Սիրտը կապ ունի,
Կապ ունի։
կարող է չասեք։
Այստեղ դուք թվեր էլ պիտի տեսնեք։
Հա, բայց դուք ոնց որ ինձ շեղում եք, որտեվ ես չեմ կարծում դուք թիվ եք պահել։ Չեմ կարծում դուք թիվ եք պահել։ Մի հատ ձեր ճակատի գծերը ինձ ցույց կտաք։
Կոնտրոլ։
Մի հատ սենց կոնտրոլ, մի հատ էլ սենց։ Դե բաժակ կարդալուց առաջ միշտ էլ կար ճակատագիրը։ Մի բան տեսնում եմ, էլի սիրտ, ինչ-որ սիրտ եմ տեսնում։ Կարող եմ ես մի հատ օգտվել սրանից, սուրճ կա սրա մեջ մի հատ նայենք։
Ահա, այո, կա։
Դեսի դրեմ ստեղ։ Մի հատ ձեր աչքերը կփակեք։ Հիմա արդեն հասկանալի է։ Մի հատ աչքերը կբացեք։ Սուրճ ջան, մենք իրար գիտենք ու դրա համար ուզում եմ հստակ խոսենք սրա մասին։ Ես ձեզ ասել եմ ինչ քարտ ընտրեք, ինչ քարտ չընտրեք։ Դուք ուղղակի մտածել եք մի քարտի մասին։
Մի քարտի մասին։ Մի անգամից հենց մտքովս եկավ սիրտ պիտի պահեի։ Դա կլիներ սրտի բալետին, բայց մի անգամից պահեցի սրտի կառոն։
Ուրեմն մի հատ ուզում եմ խնդրել, դուք տեսնեք ձեր ճակատագիրը։ Տեսնում ես։
Այո, ապշած եմ, որովհետև ու զարմացած եմ, որ հենց սկզբից պահել էի, ես պահել էի սրտի կառոլ։
It was my father's destiny that actually brought me to Yerevan. He was the one who believed in miracles before anyone else did, who fought for freedom when nobody else dared. Under the city we all see, he taught me to see the magic city. When I look at these doves, for example, I now know they are the direct descendants of those doves that flew to Noah's Ark once upon a time. And as I walk the city today, I'm overwhelmed by the sights and sounds of its magic everywhere.
And I can't walk into Liberty Square without being assaulted by an avalanche of sounds and images. There on a green bench is a man on hunger strike. There are some friends celebrating a great occasion. There's a man and a woman deciding to be married. There's the sound of kids again and the hysterical music coming from the opera itself. And speeches upon speeches upon speeches, decades of speeches echoing in Liberty Square. Endless memories. Echoing, endless memories. I'd rather not go there. It's too much for me. Do you have a place like that in Yerevan?
A place that you're mysteriously drawn to, that you somehow feel is destined for you.
I want you to think of that place. And I want you to tell me a little about the memory or the feeling that you've attached to that place, but being careful not to actually reveal where that place is.
Be careful though. I'll be trying to read the writing on your forehead.
I moved here from New York, and a few weeks later, it was my 33rd birthday, actually. So I wanted to make sure to go to this place, to start my day in this place.
The memory is connected to a precious person.
I have a very strong emotion connected to the place, which refers more to happiness, but also some worried feelings.
And what is the feeling when you think about that place?
A place is magic itself.
The place is magic itself.
When I was already at the university, I had the dream to become the mayor of Yerevan. As I loved the town very much, I thought I need to become a mayor in order to do some good for Yerevan. I had a business card and writing, future mayor of Yerevan.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
For me, it's more of an emotion of community, friendship, and interconnectedness.
Interesting.
I always remember just this moment of feeling really happy, knowing that I was starting a new adventure, a new chapter.
Is it a shady place?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, keep
Yeah.
going.
That's the place that I have only good memories.
Yeah,
It's happy place for me.
like
and
that
I've been-
song. Has to do with Khachatryan.
So you read my mind.
It would seem to be the statue of Saryan and the surrounding.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It is this very act of capturing a moment, broadcasting a moment. It has to do with TV.
Erebuni, fortress.
Exactly.
I'm getting, is it the cascade? It's the cascade. It's the cascade.
Very top of the cascade.
Exactly.
Was that what it is?
It is. That's my favorite place.
Well, there you go. It was,
My least favorite place in the city, I swear.
That was weird.
I've actually been meaning to show you something here at the Cascade. It's just next to the statue of Alexander Tamanyan, the founding architect of Yerevan. Here they are, the blueprints of the city, and a few words by the great poet Yerishe Charens. Natesel e Yerevi Arevain mi քաղաք. He saw, it appears, a city like the sun.
and in fact, when we finally do have the opportunity to observe Yerevan from above, we immediately recognize the grand circular pattern of the place. How in fact the avenues beam out like sun rays and then return and converge and deliver us endlessly to each other. So when we come across each other at a given intersection on a given day and remark how lucky we are, maybe part of it is luck. But we should also consider that the city of Yerevan was designed precisely to create such encounters.
As the poet had written, he saw, it appears, a city like the sun. But why it appears? Why that word Yerevi? It sounds a lot like Yerevan, doesn't it? And it's true. Yerevan is not what it appears to be.
Ես քեզ սիրում եմ ես խոսքերը ասում եմ քեզ իմ Երևան արժե հասնել աշխարհի ծերը որ ես բարերը հասկանամ ծեր գնչուհին բախտս կարտած իմ հայացքի մեջ մոխրացած
I had not planned to visit the circular gallery in downtown Yerevan, but as destiny would have it, the visual artist Suren Tadevosyan was just about to open his new exhibition, X-Ray Yerevan. So naturally, I asked him to give me a private tour.
Հետաքրքիրն է նա որ ստեղ լույսն է բացահայտող։
Ռենտգենը տենց է, ինչեւ չես դնում լույսի դիմաց, ինքը չես տեսնում շերտերը։ Մկանը աջակցում է ոսկորից եւ այլն։ Նույն լրիվ շատ մոտ է տեխնոլոգիան տամը։
In his installations, composed of several layers of photographs, Suren is exposing the hidden secrets and illusions of his city.
I think a magic trick.
And as we walked around the circular exhibition, which ended and began again, I was reminded again of that circular idea of destiny.
Մի հատ բան եմ ուզում փորձել, եթե հեռախոսը թանես, բան ունի, ինքը calculator, app ունի, մի հատ այդ calculator-ը բացենք։ Ու ուզում եմ մի հատ երկու թվից բաղկացած մի թիվ գրես, որը ասենք 10-ից 50-ը, հիմա սեղմի բազմապատկելը, ու հիմա 3 ինչ ցանկացած թիվ ուզում ես գրի 3 թվից բաղկացած։ Հիմա վերջին անգամ էլի բազմապատկել սեղմի, հիմա 4 թիվ։
Սենց խառը թիվ չի հավաքել։
3 թիվ ընտրեցինք, բազմապատկեցինք իրար, դե հիմա արի հավասարը նույն ժամանակ սեղմենք, 1, 2, 3։
Շատ լավն էր, հետաքրքիր է։
Չէ, հետաքրքիրն է մենք իրար հետ ենք սինխրոնացած, թե ինչ-որ ավելի մեծ ճակատագիր կա, որի հետ ենք սինխրոնացած։ Իսկ եթե հետևանց ենք կարդում 0.77 ցենտ ինչ-որ հեռախոսի համար գիտես։
Դե այս հեռախոսի համար է, ճիշտ է։
Չէ, օրինակ
Չախոսում։ Ոնց կարա սենց լինի։
Sometimes you need a mirror to read the writing on your forehead. 077 142 112. I don't recommend calling it though, unless you want a high interest loan.
Say stop wherever you'd like.
Stop.
Okay. Just look at this first word. Hold it in your mind.
Over time, it became easy for me to read the writing on people's foreheads.
It's a word. It's a word that rises, raising.
Yeah.
Okay.
In their gestures.
It's a movement. There's a forward movement associated with this word. Yes?
Are you fishing words now?
You know, I learned from the best, Mrs. Maya.
In their eyes.
The second word I think is like said. Is it she said?
She told.
She told.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
But I didn't just want to read people's destinies. I wanted to control it. And so I began to study hypnosis, that deep, dark state of our subconscious mind where the decisions of destiny are actually made.
In a moment, I'm going to borrow this hand. Is that okay with you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Look at your hand. Look at a certain spot on the hand, one spot in particular, and keep your focus on that spot. And as the hand moves toward you, you will begin to lose focus. And as you become aware of your eyes, close your eyes and sleep and go deeper and deeper and deeper, drifting, floating, falling, as you go deeper and deeper and deeper. Now, as you stay in that place and enjoy that place of your mind, you stay there. I'm going to take your hand and put it in front of you and keep your hand just like this. I'm going to tell the story, the legend of Arshak II, the Armenian king who actually came to be captured by his Persian adversary, King Shapur. And while King Arshak was in captivity, Shapur had a plan to test the Armenian king's loyalty. And so in one of the rooms of the palace, King Shapur put a rug, and under that rug, he put Persian soil. And when he led Arshak to that rug, under which was Persian soil, the Armenian king would begin to weaken. He would begin to compromise. He would lose his strength just like your hand is losing strength right now, falling slowly and slowly and slowly toward the table. Just like the king lost its power, so your hand is losing its power. And yet, in another room of the palace, King Shapur had placed another rug. And under that rug, he put not Persian soil, but Armenian soil. And when King Arshak stood on that rug, under which was Armenian soil, immediately he felt himself getting stronger. He grew disobedient and passionate, just like your hand is filling up with passion right now. Like the power of King Arshak, you're growing more powerful and powerful and powerful. Your hand is filling with courage and with passion and with strength, rising higher and higher. You're standing on Armenian soil and your hand is rising higher and higher and higher. Now, the tale of Arshak II doesn't have a very happy conclusion.
But enough about the king's destiny. It's time to find yours, don't you think? On a night like this, when rain is forecast in Yerevan, I think about that night God decided to end the world. And I think of Noah, a man who had heard a voice that told him to build a boat. People must have thought he was crazy. I wonder, if the world ended again tonight, would there be a Noah among us?
So I have a simple question for you, really. I want you to think back into your childhood. Think through all the toys and items and symbols of your childhood, and I want you to think of one in particular. Do you have it?
Yes.
What is it?
Boat.
A boat. It's interesting. And would you tell us what that symbol is?
Oh, a boat?
A boat. And just to be clear, we haven't arranged this in any way, have we?
No, of course.
No, seriously.
No.
No one influenced you to choose that boat?
I don't think so.
Okay, we haven't prearranged this or anything like that.
I didn't ask you, right, to choose that boat?
No.
It's a word you just happened to think of.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not hypnotized.
No.
You're not hypnotized either, right?
No.
No, not that I know of.
Okay, so why did you choose the boat?
When I was a child, I was building a town, and there was a river in the town, and I used to play with a boat which was on the river, and I liked that boat. So that boat was kind of giving some breath to the town, as if it's a real town. I remember even, oh my God, I just remembered the radio, because I built that small town in my grandma's home.
Right.
And she always used to listen to public radio, and I just remembered also the sound of that radio.
Yeah.
The river that I created, the boat.
Right.
Yeah.
So your symbol once again is?
The boat.
I'm so glad you chose that, because the truth is, there is a storm coming to our city of Yerevan. The world is actually about to end. And all the people who mocked you, who laughed at you, all those people need you now. We need you now. Only you can save us. Only you can bring a new world.
Oh my God.
I now know that it was destiny that brought me to Yerevan. And even if I don't feel it all the time, even if I can't hear its voice, even if I deny it exists, destiny is always guiding me. Just like it guided Noah once upon a time.
In a moment, I'm going to ask you to open your eyes. And when you do, I'm going to ask you a simple question. And when I ask you to choose the symbol of your childhood, you will say the word boat. Now trust me, this will all appear to be your own free choice. But that's only because you won't remember this little arrangement of ours, this special moment where you and I decided your destiny. 1, 2, wide awake. I have a simple question for you, really.
Իմ փոքրիկ նավակ կհասնես արդյոք ծովի նկապուտակ Իմ փոքրիկ նավակ կհասնես արդյոք ծովի նկապուտակ Իմ փոքրիկ նավակ Ուր ես դու ուր ես լողում Ուր են քեզ ուր են տանում Գետի ալիքները խելագար Իմ փոքրիկ նավակ կհասնես արդյոք ծովի նկապուտակ Իմ փոքրիկ նավակ կհասնես արդյոք ծովի նկապուտակ Արեգակն անհետացավ Ամպերի ետերն անցավ Երկնքից անձրև թափվեց Ու փոքրիկ գետակը բարարեց